I just got a new notice that I didn't see before, that you are being recorded and you have to press yes in order to consent. So I guess Zoom is evolving as we watch. All right, so this is, we are now opening the Monday, June 14th, 2021 meeting of the Norton Conservation Commission. It is being conducted remotely, and because of that, we need to read a preamble with regard to that, and I'll start with that. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order, superseding certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Paragraph 18, and the Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Norton Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with a right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found at the end of this agenda. Members of the public attending this public hearing/meeting virtually will be allowed to make comments, if they wish to do so, during the portion of the hearing designated for public comment by raising their hand virtually or pressing *6 if participating by phone. And we will go over that process of raising your hand. No in-person attendance of meetings of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the Norton Cable website an audio or video of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. So we have a full commission tonight, and that includes myself, Julian Kadish. We have Gene Blood, Ron O'Reilly, Carrie Schneider, Dan Pearson, and we also have Melissa Quirk, our assistant, and Norton Conservation Director, Jennifer Carlino. Our first item on the agenda, which is a request for determination of applicability, determination number 1110 for Dylan Ribeiro concerning 53 North Worcester Street. And this is continued from our last meeting, which it's actually prior to our last meeting, 5/24/21. So do we have a representative of the applicant? Or was this one that we just had one item to deal with and then we could close, or was there more information that we needed to discuss?
David's here to answer your question. And I'm not sure if you mentioned Lisa Carrozza and Dan Doyle as members who are also present.
Yes, you did.
Go ahead, Dave.
Hi, yeah, I'm Dave.
I recall doing that.
Engineering. Yeah, we had some minor revisions to the plan. We had at the last meeting we decided we would meet Jennifer out in the field. We met out there. We reworked the wetlands line somewhat and added a few minor notes to the plan, which involved removal of some dead trees and tree limbs that are on a fence on the property line. Also removal of some invasive species, some bamboo plants down on the northern property line near the drainage ditch. And that was about it. Oh, and also we added a visual barrier down near the wetland line. And I believe that covered everything.
You also added the sump pump discharge channel that provides hydric soils and wetlands.
Yes. Yeah.
Correct. So from the last meeting, all we needed was the site inspection and the revised plan. So you have all the documents you need.
All right, any questions from members of the commission? And any questions from members of the audience? And you can raise your hand depending on your version of Zoom. It'll either present on your participants list or the actions button, which is where mine is. So if you have any questions, I don't see any hands up. And that being the case, I think we can consider a motion to close the public hearing. And we can consider that now.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing on file DET number 110.
All right, we have a motion made by Dan Pearson and seconded by
Second.
Ron. And I think we need to do a roll call vote, and I think we can do it in batches of 3. So Ron, Jean, and Carrie.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we got 3 ayes, and now Dan Pearson, Lisa, and Dan Doyle, I think, was there.
All right.
Aye.
And we got 3 ayes. I'll throw in an aye, so the motion carries. We're back in our regular meeting, but it's a brief vote to consider negative determination or positive. It appears to fall under negative determination, which means that the project can continue and a project does not require the filing of a formal notice of intent, but it does require issuing of the permit.
I'll make the motion to issue a -3 determination on number 1110.
Motion by Dan Doyle made and seconded by?
Second.
All right, seconded by Ron. Again, roll call vote, and we'll do them in batches of 3. So Ron, Jean, and Carrie.
Aye.
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 Got 3 ayes, and Dan Pearson, Dan Doyle, and Lisa.
Aye.
Aye.
We got another 3 ayes, and I'll throw in an aye. So the motion carries to issue a negative determination.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Item B is notice of intent, file number 250-1076 for Doug and Christine Thatcher, 14 Lagoon Lane. This project is continued from May 24th, and it is a proposed project to add a 20 by 30 foot addition to an existing house. And we have, and again, is this something we needed a representative of the applicant, or was it just submission of additional information and then we're set?
Correct. Craig is here and he can explain the changes to the plan.
Hello, it's Craig Siganowski, Rim Engineering. And last time you asked me to add existing grades to the limit of work so it could be confirmed when they're done that they haven't changed the grading. And also the dewatering area has been added to the plan, which would be as far from the wetlands resource areas as we can and within a reasonable distance of where they're building. So it's in the area near the lagoon lane and the driveway.
Okay.
I believe that was all that was requested.
You gave us the details for the Cultec chamber, so that how to maintain that properly.
All
All
right.
documentation you need. Yep.
Okay, so any further questions from members of the commission? And if not, we can again open it up to members of the audience, again with the hand raising feature if you wish to ask a question. And I don't see any hands up, so we can potentially now entertain a motion to close this public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to close the public on file 250-1076.
Second.
Motion made by Dan Pearson, and I believe that was you, Ron, that
Yep.
seconded. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So again, a motion made to close the public hearing. Roll call vote. We'll do it as Ron, Jean, and Carrie.
Aye.
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 We got 3 ayes, and Dan Pearson,
Aye.
Dan Doyle, and Lisa.
Aye. Aye.
And I think we got Dan Doyle. You voted yes.
Yes, aye.
Okay, we got 3 more ayes, and I'll throw in an aye, so that is closed. It looks like we do have an order of conditions available, but I think we'll act on that after we complete the hearings. I assume that's acceptable. All right. So item 3 is notice of intent. Item C, that is notice of intent. File number 250-1070, White Axe Share Corporation concerning Eddy Street. This project has been continued multiple times, most recently May 10th, concerning a project to construct a common driveway and associated stormwater management, etc. So do we have a representative of that project?
No, they had asked for a continuance to the next meeting, but since they were looking to do soil tests with John Chesia, I asked if they would continue for a month because that's more reasonable time for us to get information back and have John be able to review whatever documents they give us, and they have agreed to a continuance to July 12th.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to continue file 250-1070 to the July 12th meeting of the Conservation Commission. Second.
Motion made by Dan Pearson, seconded by Ron. A roll call vote. Ron, Jean, and Carrie. How do you vote?
Aye.
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 3 ayes, and Dan Pearson, Dan Doyle, and Lisa.
Aye.
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 Got 3 more ayes, and I'll throw in an aye. So this file number 250-1070 is continued until July 12th, I believe it was. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, next item on the agenda is request for determination of applicability, determination 1109 concerning Massachusetts Coastal Railroad right-of-way. This also has been continued on multiple occasions, most recently on May 24th. And as I understand it, there was an inspection. I apologize for not being able to participate in that, but do we have a representative, or was it again all of the issues resolved?
I've not received anything from Tom. At the last meeting, we did ask him to revise the request for determination of applicability form. He originally checked off just the wetland resource area confirmation, but in his letter, he was also asking for you to approve work. So we just needed him to revise that first page and then conduct the site inspection. So I haven't heard from him or received that revised page yet, but I don't know if Jean or Carrie want to talk about the site inspection at all.
Carrie, do you want to go first?
Or so we walked out and we saw the first marker. So at the last meeting, Tom had explained sort of how they know where the wetlands delineation is and where where to stop spraying. So we saw what the marker looks like, and it's pretty obvious. He explained how the truck comes through and applies the herbicide. It's actually, he showed us a picture too, and so it's actually pretty low to the ground, about knee high, and it sprays 10 feet in either direction from the center line of the track, and just goes up the track. And then when they see the marker, they stop. So it's about 10 feet before the delineation, and then they start again once they get past it. And they're going pretty slowly. They're going about 10 miles per hour. So it looks like they would see the marker and not misapply the herbicide.
Okay.
The area is the right of way is hard to walk because of the ballast. All right. If the commissioner wants to do another on-site inspection, I would suggest they make arrangements for the car to travel the rails to the certain locations. We only walked so far to the abutment for the river, and we observed the first marker, and we were explained how wide the sprayer would be. It would only take basically the space between the rails and approximately 5 to 7 feet either side of the rail, and that would take care of the spraying that they have to do. The machine, as explained, would be very accurate as to where it has to be sprayed, when it has to be stopped, when it has to be joined again. But again, I'm happy with where he explained it and the process of the application of the herbicide. Now, and again, the only thing I would emphasize that if the commissioner wants to check the other areas that they employ the car, because it is tough walking, especially for the older groups.
So my only question that remains is sort of, I think we're being asked to confirm the delineations, and, I don't know, looking at the markers where they are, but, he says that they were confirmed. I think he said at the last meeting they were confirmed by DEP within the last 5 years or 5 years ago. I'm not sure. So I don't know what we do with that question.
Okay. Well, I'll hope that I hear from him tomorrow and we go over the last two pieces so that we're ready for the next meeting.
Okay. And I did tell him that when we were there on Friday. So.
Great. Well, thank you both for going on the inspection.
Sure.
All right. So it sounds like this is due for a continuation, probably for the 28th. Is that a fair statement?
Not hearing from the applicant, I would say yes. Yeah.
All right. So unless there are further questions from either the commission or members of the audience, and I don't see any hands up on the participants list, we can go ahead and entertain a motion for the continuation of the determination number 1109 being continued until June 28th.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to continue ET number 1109 to June 28th.
Second that.
Meeting.
All right, we have a motion made by Dan Pearson and seconded by Dan Doyle. Again, roll call vote. Ron, Jean, and Carrie, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. 3 ayes, and then we have Dan Pearson, Dan Doyle, and Lisa. How do you vote?
Aye.
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 And 3 more ayes, and I'll throw in an aye as well. Next item. Do we move on to the next item, or can we open discussion for any other items now? What's the preference? No preference? Well, we can, so our next section of the meeting is going to be discussion of orders of conditions or requests for an extension. And then draft minutes, new business, old business. So if there's any item, any member of the audience wants to discuss, you can raise your hand and we'll entertain a question. Can't really guarantee that we will be able to actually enter it into the meeting, as any discussion items need to be advertised, to be put on the agenda and advertised. But I don't see any hands up, so I think our next item is sign and issue orders of conditions. And the only order I have is for David and Christine Thatcher, 14 Lagoon Lane, file number 250-1076. And this does not seem complicated. It's essentially boilerplate. Anybody have any comments on any items on the orders of conditions?
I just got a comment on number 4, Jen. You have a repeated sentence there with the BLSF is shown as Zone A confirmed. You have that sentence twice.
Okay, yep,
Everything else was fine.
thank you.
All right, anybody else have any more comments? And if not, we can entertain a motion to approve the order of conditions for file number 250-1076 as amended.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made by Lisa and seconded by Dan Pearson. Again, roll call vote. We have Ron, Jean, and Carrie.
Aye.
Aye.
3 ayes, and then Dan Pearson, Dan Doyle, and Lisa.
Aye.
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 And 3 more ayes, and I'll throw in an aye. So the motion carries. The orders of conditions as amended are approved. And our next item is request for an extension, 3-year extension for file number 250-1017 concerning Dana Jr., 21 Somerset Street. And this was a project to construct a single-family house, driveway, utilities, and associated grading within the 100-foot floodplain.
Right, within the 100-year floodplain.
100 feet, yes, sorry.
Yeah. We did send the applicant a number of questions. They have not been answered, so you may want to postpone this until the next meeting, and we can prompt him again to answer the 5 questions that we sent him.
All right, so we probably don't need a vote on that. It's just going to be tabled until the next meeting.
We could do that, yep.
All right, very good. And now we have full certificates of compliance. First item is file number 250-0625 concerning Red Mill Village Trustees, Newland Street. And this concerns the extension of the sewer line on Newland Street within 100 foot of wetlands. And I think this came up previously, that this sewer extension was turned over to Water and Sewer. And what was the new information about that?
Melissa and I both contacted and spoke with the water department and the planning board, highway department. No one has as-built plans. So, we were trying to assist Red Mill Village in trying to find as-built plans, but nobody has them. So as owners of the property, it is ultimately their responsibility to do that. If they have some sort of agreement or disagreement with the water department, then it's really between those 2 parties to come up with that as-built plan. We do have a phone call scheduled for tomorrow, me and Red Mill Village, to go over that. So I would just recommend no action at this time.
Right. So again, we'll just put that one on the table until I can go back on the next agenda.
Jennifer, just one quick question. Has anybody reached out to the contractor? Because typically they will take notes, they'll put ties into their field notebook. I find it hard to believe that it wasn't part of anybody's contract to deliver an as-built, but
Yeah.
that said, they should be able to mark something up. And then if the road's constrained by a bunch of utilities, it could only probably have gone in one or two places, right? So we may have to just rely on the proposed condition.
I believe they've tried to contact the developer and have not received a response.
But the contractor, so the contractor did it on behalf
The
of
developer.
not the town, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a contractor that installed the line according to a set of plans, and
No, I know that. I just didn't know who's paying that bill, right? Is it the town or was it the development company?
but the idea is the plans by which it was installed
Mhm.
should still exist, and you know, as you say, there's only a set spot where it could have gone because of other utilities in the road. So it's just a matter of somebody certifying that the original set of plans was accurate as to how it was installed. So it shouldn't be impossible to do this.
Yep. I mean, the contractor should be able to take one look at it and say, yeah, we deviated here and there, but for the most part, it's in. If we're not going to get a certificate from an engineer. So I would try to reach out to the contractor if at all possible.
All right, but that will be on our agenda next time as well. Next item is a full certificate of compliance for file number 250-0169. Wow, that is old.
It's another old subdivision where you can issue the certificate for the one house lot only, but not for the whole subdivision because we do not have documentation that the road and the stormwater management has been installed correctly yet. But you can issue for the one house lot.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion that we issue a full certificate of compliance for file 250-0169. Jennifer, do we have the house lot?
For 19 Margaret Drive only.
Okay, there was just no house lot. So
Correct.
it's just 19 Margaret. Okay.
And we're looking for a second.
I'll second.
All right, so a motion made by Lisa, second by Dan Pearson, to issue a single house lot certificate of compliance for 19 Margaret Drive under the umbrella of file number 250-0169, which refers to a larger subdivision. So again, a roll call vote. We got you trained. Gary, and we have Dan Pearson's aye, and then Lisa and Dandoyle.
Aye.
All right, and I'll throw in an aye. So we got all ayes. The motion carries. Review draft minutes, Monday, May 24th. We had 6 of our 7 members participating. Dan Doyle was absent, so we'll consider an abstention. Any questions, corrections, additions, deletions, comments? I have no comments.
No, I read the whole thing. Melissa did an outstanding job.
Yes, she does.
I think we're going to be sending her to Congress next.
So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. What was the date?
May 24th.
May 24th.
Motion made by Lisa and seconded by?
Second.
Seconded by Ron. Again, a roll call vote. Jean, Ron, Carrie.
Aye.
And all right, we got 3 ayes. Dan Pearson has an aye. And then we have Lisa, Dan Doyle has to abstain.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. Motion carries. So I will be signing this in the truck at some point.
Yeah, because the state of emergency ends tonight, everything we issue after midnight needs to be wet signatures. So we'll let you know as soon as the permits are ready, and we'll need you to come in and sign all of the permits that we issued tonight. We'll let you know.
All right, sounds good. And my pen is ready. New business. Eagle Scout letter, that also it sounds like it's going to be waiting till next meeting, or is that in the truck now?
It's not there yet. I do have to write that letter. It's a thank you letter for Franklin Cropley for creating that the osprey pole in the reservoir and doing the educational project. His Eagle Scout ceremony is June 27th at 2 o'clock.
Did an osprey decide to come calling yet?
You know, I'm not sure. I haven't actually been in the reservoir in a while. It's just a little too busy to take a kayak out there to check on it.
But when does Norton Kayaks begin their tours?
They've already begun.
So maybe we can call them and ask them just to give us feedback as to whether anything has been built on it yet.
We can do that.
I'm usually out there weekly, so I'll keep an eye out for it this week.
Okay, thanks, Dan.
All right.
So Julian, you skipped over one item. That's DEP 250-1036. That's the superseding order of conditions for Next Sun Energy, which is the Cranberry Bog Solar Project. DEP did issue an approval for that project, crossing out virtually all of the conditions that we had set on their approval. And I do not.
Where is that on the agenda? I'm not finding it.
Right under new business?
I think it was on the revised agenda, which was after the one we mailed out.
Oh, after the mailing.
So, right, it was emailed out, but the mailing was before the revision.
All right, well,
Thanks, Leslie.
I actually probably have it on the electronic copy, but let's go over it. Go ahead.
That's basically it. DEP issued the approval. We approved the project with conditions. The applicant appealed it, and DEP did issue an approval. I'm not sure where things stand with the planning board, but I was issued a subpoena, so I have to give a deposition on the planning board lawsuit. I don't quite know what's happening there, so I'm meeting with counsel this week before the deposition. But basically, the DEP approved the project as we did.
More than likely, it's moving forward.
More than likely, I would think so, yeah. I don't know what's happening with the planning board, though.
What's the lawsuit? The planning board.
I think it's just that the planning board approved it. I think it's abutters.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Abutters who appealed the planning board decision because they
I see.
the project as well.
Okay.
All right.
I live on Bay Road. That's why I know.
All right, so
So under new business, do you have discussion of public meetings, temporary protocols in response to COVID-19?
I have that,
Okay.
but I'm not sure I have attachment. Oh, yes, I probably have attachment E.
There's been the attachments. This I did speak with town council about. I'm not quite sure. I think we probably need to get a final decision from town council because the state of emergency, the executive order for the state of emergency says that, yes, you can do remote hearings during the state of emergency, but all meetings go back to in-person when the emergency ends, which is tomorrow. But we did get the temporary protocols, which says that you can decide if you want to hold them remotely, fully in person, or a hybrid model. But the fully in person has the residents only able to attend remotely, but town hall is open to the public. So I'm just not clear on what exactly you guys can decide on this without just hearing back from town council, I mean, the way I read the end of the state of emergency is everything goes back the way it was pre-COVID. So in-person meetings with everybody and no more electronic signatures. And so I'm hoping that we get some clarification from town council before we have to post the next agenda, which would be next Wednesday.
All right, well, I mean, we've discussed preferences. I mean, I think the electronic format is a barrier to some members of the public. Of course, the other half of the coin is making it to town hall in that set meeting time is also something of a barrier. But and for whatever reason, my internet seems to be working well tonight. There's no major time delay, and it's actually functioning. So, but nevertheless, I think we kind of owe it to the public to abide by the open meeting law and hold an in-person forum. But you know, it's obviously not fully up to us because it's going to be what the decision is made in town hall. But I'm ready to return to in-person meetings in town hall.
Well, that makes one of us.
I do like having the option of doing it remotely, but I agree that it can be a barrier.
I actually think we get more people on Zoom meetings than we do in person for a number of our meetings. But
well, I have found that too. I attend other meetings in other towns, and it's been the same experience there. More people can make it because, you know, they often happen while people are working. So.
Yeah, I'll abide by, you know, whatever the select board decides, the town council decides, whatever. I'll abide by it. But I just think it's easier in general for people to be relaxed and be able to, instead of electronically raising their hand the way Peter has. So Peter, do you have something you want to say on this particular issue?
That's right. I can't wait to get back to in-person meetings, which is tomorrow.
Well, it's as scheduled, but there's something on the table. We don't know how it's gonna be decided.
Yep.
I do understand the, you know, need to get back an open meeting law and everything. I do think it's good to meet in person, but also as like a single guy who adopted a dog during the pandemic, I work 8 hours a day, and you know, leaving him for another 2 or 2.5 hours is going to be hard.
Well, maybe your dog can come to the meeting.
That would be great.
I welcome dogs at meetings. I just don't know how well.
He's a good boy, though.
All right. Well, I think that there's nothing decisive that we can act on here. You know, I think we need to get a little more guidance as to what town hall is, or you know, what the select board and town council and town manager is going to want us to do.
okay, I should hear from town council before we have to post the next agenda. So, you know, we'll make it clear on the agenda if it's in person or if it's a Zoom meeting.
All right. So we have old business. Is there anything new in old business?
Well, it looks like Tom just joined us from the railroad.
No. Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can't see you, but that's okay.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry, I'm in the front seat of my pickup truck here.
All right.
But I am here. I appreciate you taking the time for me. So we did have a site visit yesterday with Kerry and Jean, and we looked at some of the areas there down near the Taunton line, and I just wanted to circle back and discuss again my application. One thing I did want to throw out there, since we talked in the field yesterday, and I was having some similar issues in another town in regards to the confirmation of the delineation line. And they had a couple of concerns similar to your commission. One of them being, they didn't want somebody taking a delineation for vegetation management and trying to use it for other work that was totally unrelated to that. And I understand their concerns. And they also had the concern that you did about, because the way we mark everything is very non-traditional and would not apply to anything other than vegetation management. They made the proposal that rather than actually making a determination to confirm the boundaries, just to issue a negative determination only for the purposes of vegetation management. And I was wondering if your commission might consider something similar in order to satisfy everyone's concerns.
Well, Tom, the regulations do require you to have the boundary verified with the determination, so I think it's important to keep that on there. And then I think at the last meeting, we asked you just to revise that determination request.
Yeah.
Because your letter asks for the commission to make a decision about the work as well. So if you can change that first page and send that back to us, then we can give you a decision on the vegetation and boundaries and the work. Otherwise, we can only give you a decision about the vegetation boundaries. That's the only thing you checked off on your application.
Okay, understood.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so so you'll be getting back to Jen on that then?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, thanks, Tom. We had actually continued you to the next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what date is that?
It's 2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today.
Yep, the 28th.
28th.
And so the sooner you can get that one page to me, the sooner I can start drafting your permit.
I will get right on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. All right, so we were kind of in the middle of old business.
Oh, yep, no old business to discuss.
All right,
Nothing new there.
and there's nothing unusual about the bill summary, I assume?
Nope.
All right, and then, although that was sent to us. We didn't have anything to ratify. We don't have anything, I don't see hands up for any other discussion, so we are all set for this meeting.
I think it might not be clear that you're asking if there's anything in open session, so
Well,
maybe we should phrase it
if
that
there
way.
are any members who have any questions they want to ask, they can be asked now. But if it involves specific topics, discussion can be only minimal because it may need to be added to the agenda to be advertised so that other members of the public can participate if it's relevant to them. But I don't see any hands up, so I think we're all set. So we can potentially entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion made by Dan Doyle, seconded by Ron. Thank you all for attending and participating. And we will rejoin in 2 weeks, 28th. And we don't know where, but we'll clarify that.
It'll be posted on the agenda if it's remote or in person.
All
I'm
right.
here by phone. I was just cut off.
Okay, Dan.
Right? Hopefully Jen in person, right?
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Jen in the game.
Okay.
All right.
Good night.
Good
Sorry.
night, Dan. Good night, Ron. Good night, Bill. Good night.
Night.
Thank you.
Hey, Peter.
Good weather.
Good night.